I didn't know that there was like like cast insurance that covered production before.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that has to be separately purchased when uh, uh, applying for insurance for, let's say, like a feature film. Is that right?
No, no, no. It's part of the. It's one of the main coverages on a production
Oh, it
call.
is. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. So the main coverages are cast coverage and what's called negative and faulty stock coverage. So cast claims can be like the biggest claim ever that a production incurs. Like I think
Yeah.
the classic or the one of the biggest ones was Heath Ledger, who
Right.
died halfway through filming
Well,
the
yeah.
Imaginarium of Dr.
Yeah.
Parnassus.
Right.
Uh, so there was a huge cost associated with that, and then they recast the role with I think three different people: Jude Law and I can't remember who else,
Yeah.
but Colin Farrell, I think. And but all of those costs associated with what production had to do come to a grinding halt, and then recast these roles, and then restart production
Yeah.
as a result of Heath Ledger's death was in the millions, tens of millions of dollars uh,
Right.
to cover that loss.
But all
So
of that additional shooting and those cast members would be covered by insurance. Is that right?
so the cost of doing those extra shoots. Um,
Gotcha.
so what the insurance company would look at is, what was the initial budget for this project? If nothing had gone wrong, you know, what were you budgeting for? And then you would have to, once this loss occurs, the cast member dies or they become sick, you then have to demonstrate, that all of these extra expenses that production incurred to complete the project were necessary to completing the project.
Mm.
So you have to show why you had to pay these crew, or like how much you had to pay the crew to work overtime, or to be sent home for the day even though they didn't work, or what all of those extra expenses that you incurred as a
Right.
result of it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so it's same thing with the negative and faulty. So neg faulty is covering losses to your actual footage. So neg faulty
Right.
obviously is referring to an older time of film when people were shooting
When we
on
shot film.
celluloid, and negative, yeah, and
Yeah.
like there's a much higher risk of that being lost and damaged. It was like
Right.
super flammable.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but there is a risk. There's a possibility that like you could lose all of your footage, and then you have to go back and reshoot everything. So cast, neg, and faulty will always have a limit that's around, or rounded up from your full gross budget, because there's the risk and the possibility that you would have to just go back and redo everything. Um, Neg faulty doesn't, that doesn't happen as often these days
Right.
with digital and the cloud and whatever. But that's still the sort of the principle behind it, is that basically your whole project is on the line with these kinds of risks.